Hello, Nachum. Thank you for being over here. Thank you for taking the time. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for asking. So, before we start, Nahum, I do want to let you know that I was able to read some of your posts, like some in the blog, and I read some things about you that they were really interesting. So, it says that you were a born entrepreneur, that as a kid, you started like shoveling snow off the sidewalk in winter just to make like some extra dollars. And then you also sold baseball cards at trade shows when you were like around 12 years old. And then you created like a candy
Yeah, for sure.
circle. Sorry.
Yeah, yeah. I had a candy locker in high school. That
Hmm.
was I was doing so well. I was making more money than the teachers, and so they shut it down. But
Yes.
yeah, I was always entrepreneurial.
I read about that. And then I just want to know, was it all you or like were you encouraged to do this?
I think it was all me. I wasn't really encouraged. I wasn't decouraged. If
Right.
decouraged is a word, if not, I just coined it.
Hmm.
But it was something that was just always inside me. I did have some older friends that were very entrepreneurial also, and I sort of looked up to them. I had good friends that got me into the shoveling snow business. They used to take me along to do it with them, and then I just branched out on my own and started doing it on my own. But that very first time when I went snow shoveling and I came back, sore and cold and frozen, but I had like $60 in my pocket, and I was like, 11 years old.
Right.
It just was just a great feeling. Hey, wow, I could actually go out and work and make some money, and it was always an instinct that I had, even at a very young age.
Right, right. And you just mentioned that you were like cold and everything, but then like you were able to see like the actually $60. So I bet you were like excited about them.
Yeah, especially as a young kid,
Right?
$60 was a lot of money, especially I guess back in the 80s.
Right.
I think I might give my age away.
Right. Okay, so being that said, I know Book Like a Boss is a web-based platform for scheduling appointments, selling products, and services online through a custom all-in-one booking page. Can you just let me know how everything started? I know you started around like building it around 2015, but it was actually launched in 2007, 17. Sorry. Can you just let me know a bit more?
What happened was that I had a startup. I've been an entrepreneur again my whole life, mostly in the high tech field for the last 25 years.
Mhm.
But I decided to go into manufacturing, and that actually ended up being a nightmare. I was manufacturing an apparel line, and it did not go the way I thought or hoped, and it really burnt me out. So after 2 years of doing it, I was forced to close it. And when I did, I said, I'm not starting another company right away. I want to write a book and launch a podcast. And so I did that. And I was also going to do business coaching for startups. And what happened was is that due to the success of the book and the podcast, I had a
Mhm.
lot of people reaching out to me. Can I take you out for coffee? Can I buy you lunch? And I said, well, I charge for my time. Oh, you charge for your time? How much do you charge? I said $250 an hour. Oh wow, what does that include? There's a lot of wasted time back and forth. A lot of people that if they thought it was a free cup of coffee, they had no problem, paying
Mhm.
for it. But when they saw how valuable my time was, then all of a sudden there's a lot more questions. And I just saw there was a lot of wasted time back and forth. And I said, I wish there was an easy way that when someone first approaches me and says, hey, can I buy a cup of coffee? Can we meet? I
Mhm.
could send them a link that didn't just have a calendar, but that had a way to show maybe a video so I could introduce myself more, show
Mhm.
testimonials. I know what questions they're going to ask. So I wanted to show frequently asked questions on the page. I wanted to, show the different services I offer
Right.
and really give everything they would need to make a decision whether they wanted to book me or not.
Mhm.
And it didn't exist, right? Of course, you had lots of calendar apps, and you could try to create a page in WordPress, and I tried doing that, but it was a
Mhm.
nightmare because when one thing got updated, it would throw off something else, and it wasn't so easy or simple. As I was going through this pain point that I had as a business coach, a friend of mine whose sister was a masseuse, he sent me an email from his sister saying, hey, I'm looking for an easy to use platform. I don't know anything about technology. I just want a one page website that says, here are the massages I offer. Here's my calendar. Let them book me for the massage and pay for it all on one page. Does such a thing exist? So my friend who knew I was into technology, he sent it to me, and that's when the light bulb went off. I said, wait a second. If I, as a business coach, has this need, and here's a masseuse that has this need, I bet there are millions of other people around the world that has this need for an easy to use way to sell services online. Um, and so a couple of weeks after that, I approached a good friend of mine, a developer, top of the line developer who I worked with previously on other projects. And I told him my idea to create this platform that makes it simple to sell services online. And he loved it. And my partner Dovid and I, we decided to form Book Like a Boss at the end of 2015. And we ended up launching it in June 2017.
Okay, wow. Like there's a whole story of why you made Book Like a Boss. Okay, so that was in the past. Now moving on to the present. Yeah, how would you say that a day as Nahum looks like?
So I get up pretty early. I think it's like around 6:30.
Yeah.
I go to prayers first, and then I spend an hour learning Talmud, which is Jewish studies,
Mhm.
and then I get to the office and I pretty much work from, let's say, around 10:30 a.m. till about 7:30 p.m. Then I'll go home. Luckily, my office is across the street from where I live, so that
Mhm.
makes it convenient. Then I'll go home for a couple of hours, dinner, spend time with the kids. Then if I have to come back to the office, come back to the office. Um, but then I usually try to go to sleep around midnight every night. Sometimes it goes to about 1 a.m. I'm in Israel, so there's always a lot of customers and customer requests and questions throughout the day.
Mhm.
Thankfully, we have a fantastic team in place, actually hired by Virtual Latinos, but I don't know if we're going to get to that, but definitely Virtual Latinos is awesome and has helped us staff our company. And yeah, I mean, as an entrepreneur, it's like, and as co-founder, you're never really off. There's no set hours. It's like you're consistently working. Um, so when I have time, I always try to make time for the family, and I have time for my religious needs. Other than that, I'm working, but I love it.
Mhm. There's just like a lot on your plate. There's a lot of work for you to do. I know that you had like a background, just like you mentioned before, like your whole history, but I bet like things now in the present, like they look a bit different. Just like you mentioned, like there's always work, there's always things to do, like in Book Like a Boss. And then I
Oh,
just
there's never an end.
Mhm, exactly. And then let's just move to the future. Where do you see Book Like a Boss heading to, or where would you like it to head to?
Great question. I mean, in terms of features, I tell my team we're about 30% of where we want to be. Like we're already, I think, way above most other people in the industry in terms of the actual features that we offer, but we haven't even touched where I want to go. Eventually, we want to build apps for iOS and Android. That's on our to-do list. We're going to be building out invoicing. We're going to be building out a lot more features. Even a marketplace is in our plans, done in a different style and a different way, but we have plans for that as well. But right now, today, because of the way the economy is going globally, there's a big need for an easy platform for people to make some extra money on the side or even full-time money. You
Mhm.
know, uh, and it's quite simple to start selling services using our platform. They can be up and running in just 15 minutes. So, and with remote working and freelancers also taking off, we're poised, for the next bunch of years to, for rapid growth. So right now, that's what we're focusing on. We're focusing also on enabling our platform to integrate with other platforms out there.
Mhm.
Um, so that really, no matter what platform you're using, whether it's WordPress or Shopify or any other web platform, that we would be there for you to use.
Okay. And so I hope you do get there real soon. And I bet that you will. Personally, I'm a fan of Book Like a Boss. So all my best wishes for you and all your future plans. Okay.
Thank you so much. I greatly appreciate it.
You're welcome. Okay. And then how would you say, or what would you say that is your biggest challenge as a business owner?
Well, I think the biggest challenge is, we is a decision we made to be bootstrapped as opposed to taking venture capital funding. Which in the past, my previous companies have always taken venture capital, but this time my partner and I, we wanted to stay bootstrapped. And bootstrapped, for those unfamiliar, means that we're not really taking outside funding. We did take some funding from friends and family, but it limits you in a lot of ways, but gives you a lot more control in decision making, where you want to go, what you want to do, how big you want to build the team, etc. But we are limited without funding. We're limited in how many people we could add to our team and how many developers we could have on board. And so I think that's been one of the biggest challenges, is that, as I mentioned before, we have so much we want to do, but we're limited in how many developers we can hire. So it's a trade-off between taking outside capital or trying to do it without. So far, we've been pretty successful without taking outside funding. We'll see. We'll see if that's going to last longer or not. But right now, that's where we are.
Got it. And then you did mention about hiring people. I want to ask you, how do you decide when you want to hire a person that's remote?
So we're our whole team works remotely. We don't have one main office. Everybody on the team works remotely. We're big believers in that. We feel that if a person's in their atmosphere, in their home or their home office or wherever they are, that they'll perform better. And when we decide to bring on new people, it's we try to find people that are specialize in a specific area of expertise. So, and that's why sort of like hone in on what the person does best and allow them to flourish, and give them the tasks and stuff that enable them to do well at their job. So far, that's been a success for us, and that's probably the way we continue, is trying to find those people that are experts in their specific tasks.
And would you say it has been a challenge?
Sometimes it's been a challenge. In the earlier days, we found someone phenomenal through remote working, in another platform for a designer. And, you have to go through, when you're doing it on your own, you have to go through, 50, you invite like 50, 60 people to check out your ad. And then you have to narrow it down and go through it and interview. And by the time you get down to like 3 people, and then finally get it down to 1 person, you hope that person works out. And it doesn't always work that way.
Right.
If you're doing, you're doing the vetting yourself, you're doing the interviews, takes a lot of time. Sometimes you get lucky, and sometimes you don't. So that's pretty frustrating. It's great to work with a firm like Virtual Latinos, where the heavy lifting is already done by them, and they've already narrowed down the choices for you, and they get to learn you and get to learn you as a company, and and then they'll present you with potential people to work with, and you guys nailed it. The first person we brought on through you guys is fantastic, and has been with us, I think, more than a year already, and it's worked out so well. And what you guys do, it really takes the headache away from entrepreneurs like me.
That's great. That's good to hear. And just like you mentioned, like, it's a lot of time. Like, it does take like a lot of time just to make sure, just to find like the correct fit, and just hoping that the first candidate that you chose, like whoever you want to whoever you want to hire, that actually like works great with you. And then
Exactly.
and then let's say like about like implementing like your work culture, like in a remote environment. How has that been for you and your company?
Yes, we try to give. It starts with the founders, and we try to give over a cool vibe. We call everybody bosses, including our customers. Our customers are all bosses. Everybody in the team is a boss. We treat everybody the same. There's no different. Everybody obviously has different goals and different tasks, but we treat everybody like a family. We have a WhatsApp group where we stay in touch with each other, where we post good stuff happens, or company news. It is definitely a lot harder when you're remote, but I think the tone is set really by the founders, and I think we've been successful in doing that.
Yeah, totally agree with you. And then you started as a remote company. Are you planning to stay that way, or are you planning to change that like in the future?
No, as of now, I think we're going to stay remote. It's worked out well for us. So most likely that is our intentions as of today.
Yeah, that's great. And then I want to know, Nachum, how did you decide to hire from Virtual Latinos, through Virtual Latinos?
So it's funny, you guys were a customer of ours. You found us first, And I think Jamie, he reached out to me at some point, and I said, he said, if you're looking for other people, by the way, I love your software. Why don't you check us out? And sure enough, we had the need, and I contacted Jamie because we want to work with those that work with us already,
Mhm.
and we hit it off. I mean, he's a great, great guy, and one thing led to another, and we started working with you.
And just like I mentioned before, like I'm a big fan of Book Like a Boss. Just like you said, right now we do use Book Like a Boss a lot. Like it's a really big part of what we do every day. So it's been working like wonderful with it. Mhm.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. So I just got two more questions, Nahum. I want to know if our community wants to contact you, get in touch with you, where can they reach you out, or how can they reach you out? And is there anything else you'd like to share with us?
So you can reach out to, obviously, you should visit our website, booklikeaboss.com. That's the best way to learn more about the company and what we do.
Mhm.
If you reach out to me personally, the best thing is LinkedIn, where you can find me, Nachum Kligman. I think I'm the only Nachum Kligman on LinkedIn, so it should be pretty easy.
Okay.
And we welcome the opportunity to work with you and welcome you into the Book Like a Boss family.